Hey everybody,
I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are on episode 32, part 1 of the H's. But before we get started, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon if you want notification of future content.
And you can follow us on all of our social media. Just look in the description below and you can find out where to go.
All the links.
So, we are back. We have had a successful,
very successful
Extra Life 24-hour program.
If you did not join us on it, please go out and check out a little bit of it. The links to donate are all there.
They still work.
Yep, they all still work.
Keep on donating.
We've decided this is definitely something we want to pursue, and we're going to do it again. So watch for more information on that.
Our goal is 1,500, and we're up to
almost
over
2,000
now.
I think we're like $20 shy of 2,000 right now, as
so
where we stand right now.
Need that $20
or more. More is good. All right, but we do have.
We're going to get started, and if you watched our last one, you remember Katie saying we were not going backwards.
We were not purchasing anything. There was no Kickstarters coming in that would cause us to go backwards. As a matter of fact, we haven't had a Kickstarter come in. The only thing we were purchasing was H.I.D.E, which is an H, which we did get, which will be in the next video. However, I did not account for the fact he had been talking to somebody.
I've been talking with the designer who has a Kickstarter going to be coming out, I believe it's in September of this year.
Who was nice enough to send us a demo copy.
Yes.
And I opened it up and I about dropped it because I realized it starts with a G.
So we're going to go back to the G's. This is Gempire. This is, like I said, this is a game on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure if the artwork is final.
Yeah, I don't know.
But most of the artwork inside this game is really, really nice.
I really like the artwork in the game.
I'm not too sure about the map on the outside because there is no map in this game.
Yeah, but the artwork in the game is fabulous. The game itself, we played it one time last night. Joe and Tony came over last night and they helped us go through the rule book with a fine-tooth comb and you know what you do with a demo copy. And we played it and we really liked it. This is fabulous. I love the artwork on some of these pieces. It is just adorable. But I'll tell you, my favorite part of this game is all the shiny gems. I mean, look at those.
And the gems are all different shapes, too.
They're all different shapes
and they mean different
colors.
Things.
And they mean different things. And they're used. They are viable components in the game.
Yes,
they're not just for decoration. And these could have been cardboard shits. I mean, really, they could be.
They could have been.
These are gorgeous. And they totally made the game experience for me. But, all right, so how this one plays. And we're going to do a full review on this. So I'm going to be very, very brief here because we have only played it once and we're kind of reserving final judgment till we've played it 3 or 4 times. But how this one basically plays, you can do one of 3 things. You can either take resources. Everybody has access to the same pool of resources every round.
Yeah, because every round you roll a dice.
Yes, you roll a set of dice.
That's
5 dice.
And they have different things on it for resources.
And then everybody has a choice to make. You can either gather resources. You can only hold so much production resource, though. Or you can spend your production by bidding on the cards, which is basically the crust of the game because you're bidding on cards to build your tableau, to build your not provinces. What do they call them? Not domains.
City?
Districts. To build your districts.
And you got different districts. You got a population, gold, and culture.
Yes. So you've got 3 different districts, 3 different colors of cards you're building. You've got your green, your yellow, and your purple. And then there are some cards like these that are dual that you have to make a decision. So anyway, so you can gather production, you can gather resources of production and science, or you can bid on cards and you're bidding with everybody else at the table for the cards. Or you can upgrade your palace. And by upgrading your palace, you get extra bonuses. And again, I'm not going to go into a full description here. They're and it's totally versatile. Look at all, you only have 5 bonuses out per game, and look at all these. There's tons of them.
Yep, and it has that whole kind of a what is the game I'm thinking of? Why can't I think of it? The card game, the space card game. Race for the Galaxy kind of aspect where everybody decides what action they're going to do that round.
But there's no follow action, though.
No, there's no follow, but it has that pick your action kind of thing before. And everybody could be doing the same thing. Everybody could be doing different things.
So yeah, you write down on here what your action you're doing, and then everybody reveals at the same time. So you don't know if everybody is going after resources, in which case you're not hurting anything. Everybody's going to go after resources, and
but is
that's
somebody
the end of that.
going to go bid, and he's the only person left to bid?
And that's where I really enjoyed this, is because I could look to see what everybody had. He's only got 2 coins left, and you can't hide your resources.
No.
So he's only got 2, and he's got 3, but God, he's got 9 over there. Maybe I'll just go ahead and gather resources. I'll guarantee he's going to bid, and he's going to outbid me on everything, because I only have 5. So you can look around the table and see what people want. You can see what districts they might be going after because of what they've already played. I really liked this game. Like I said, that's as far as we're going to go into this.
Yeah.
Because it is going to Kickstarter in September. And we are going to do a full playthrough and a review probably in the next month. So definitely check that video out if this sounded anything like what you're interested in.
Check it out on Kickstarter. I believe it's coming in September. Yeah. When we do our playthrough, we'll have
more information by then. Yeah, we'll have more information in the next few weeks.
So that's Gempire, Zarmund's Demands. Really good game. Check it out.
Absolutely. All right.
So we kind of had a theme this month for H's. It's the H's. Can you guess what the theme is?
It starts with an H.A. and an R.
So we're going to start with a small one. This is Harry Potter Magi Creatures. It's not shut all the way. There we go.
So I'm gonna open the box anyway.
This is a card game where you're dealt.
You take up characters based on how many players there are. Yeah, creatures. So, and then you shuffle up the remaining creatures and you deal them out to everybody. Or you deal out just till you run out of cards.
Yeah. So some people may have more cards than other people.
So then everybody has a hand of cards, and I'm just going to kind of grab a few here. Get some different ones because, I can't have the same thing. Okay. So everybody has a hand of cards here, and your goal is you want to trade with other people. So this is another simultaneous action type thing. Everybody is talking and acting at the exact same time. So it's very fast paced. So you're looking at your hand going, okay, what do I want to save? You end the round when one player has 6 of any one of the creatures. Well, right now I actually have 4 of, who is that?
Fox.
So I have 4 of these. Great. I only need 2 more. So I'm going to look at the rest of my hand going, I'll trade somebody 4 cards. I can trade up to 4 cards at a time.
Now you're blind trading.
You're blind trading.
The other person doesn't know what they're getting.
So you're grabbing 4 cards out of your hand going, I'll trade 4, I'll trade 4. And somebody else is going, okay, I'll trade 4. And you exchange cards. Seems pretty simple, but you may get complete crap. Now, nobody's giving out these 2.
Well said.
Right. Nobody's giving out. These 2 are wild. They act as any other creature. You don't want to give out Harry or Hagrid. So we'll just take those out of the game. So, however, somebody may hand you the Dementor. And the Dementor's bad. Doesn't matter how many matches you have in your hand. If you have this in your hand, you cannot end the round.
Nope.
You have to get rid of him. So he makes his way around the table a lot.
Yeah, and at one point it gets really hard when you're playing with 4 or more players, because this plays up to 5.
I think it plays up to 6. Yeah, it's 3 to 6. So you're trying to get 6 of any one, or if you have these, you need 5 of any one. So you're trying to get 6 by exchanging cards quickly with other players, and as soon as you have them, you go, I've got 6. And you lay down the cards you have, and you take the point card for that character. And then, basically, you put them in front of you. Other people can steal them in the next round if they get 6 of this next character next round. So these cards are moving around the table as different people are grabbing them from each other as they make the 6 matches. The game ends when all of the character cards are gone, when all of the point cards are gone. So, and ours actually lasted a while because who was it that nobody could grab? Was it that one? I don't remember. There was one in the middle of the table for the entire game.
I know we didn't play with those 2 because we only played a 4-player game.
Right. I want to say it was.
So this guy. It was Norbit.
Norbit, yeah. For some reason, we all were keeping a couple of them, and nobody was actually getting all 6, no matter how hard we tried. But I don't know. My thought was this was probably going to hit the sale pile originally because it was just a little silly card game. But we actually laughed pretty hard at this one.
Mm-hmm.
We had a good time with it.
And it helped that we played with a big time.
We did. Yes, we played with a friend who is a
fan.
very big Harry Potter fan. This guy is we're going to keep him. He is going to go into our little card game collection, into that case. So he will go he'll end up going to most events with us just because that case will go with us. But, so yeah, that is Harry Potter, Magi Creatures, and we're going to hold on to him.
Okay, next we have,
get the big guy out of the way.
This big guy out of the way. This is the expansions to it. We have actually played through the entire game.
We finally beat the entire game. And we did take a couple year break.
Yeah.
Halfway through.
It took us a while.
The potions. Yeah. So how this one plays. This one it's essentially a deck builder. It's actually it's a legacy deck builder.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Yeah. It's a legacy. I don't think it was ever
you're
built as
you're
that,
revealing boxes for the next adventure.
Yes.
For every game that you win, you get a new box.
So this is your main board. Yeah, I actually have it up right. How about that? So this is your main board, and all of these spots hold cards. So I like the fact that it does give you the board that you
and
can
it even had the spots for
the
cards from expansions that were still to come out. So it kind of has a Marvel Legendary.
It does, yeah, because you're buying
because you have two different types of things going on in your hand. You either have damage coming, or you have, I can't remember. We always just said recruitment points, but I thought it had a different name.
It actually has a different name. Yeah, I don't remember what it is.
So you're recruiting members. You can battle the villains that are out there, whether they be human or creatures or whatever they are from the movies.
This is your player board. Everybody starts with 10 health, and you have a little heart tracker that tracks that. And then you have spots where other players' actions will gain you different tokens that you can use on your turn, provided something doesn't happen and you lose them all before your turn starts, because that does happen. Nobody ever truly dies in the game. You are stunned. You lose half your hand. You lose all of your saved tokens, and then you reset your health to 10 on the start of your next turn.
Yep.
So simple as that. So it's not bad. However, there are bad things that happen when somebody gets stunned.
Yes.
So you try to avoid that if you can.
Yep, because the whole thing is you're just trying to get through all the villains before you lose all your locations.
Right. Now, because there's, you got little tokens and... Okay, standard deck of 10 cards, just like most deck builders. You play with 5 deck cards at a time. You are, as he explained, like some of these gain you a recruitment point, and I know they're called something else. What are they called? I feel like we should be using the right word.
Influence tokens.
Okay, so some of them gain you influence tokens, i.e. recruitment points. Others will gain you. See, you start with a whole lot of influence. That's influence.
Yeah, you start all with the really small ones.
Hey, look, this one gives you damage, and then you usually start with one companion that'll give you damage, a whole bunch of spells,
and at least an equipment
or an ally. I'm sorry, they call it allies,
and
and one piece of equipment.
An item.
An item.
Like Harry starts with his invisible cloak.
The base game came with 4 characters: Harry, Hermione, Ron, and Neville. The expansions added
Luna.
Close.
Nova Luna. That's a whole nother game.
A whole other game. Expansions added Luna and then Jenny. Jenny Weasley. Thank you. I started to say Potter, and she does become Jenny Potter.
And the Weasleys actually work together because they get
Weasleys
certain things.
Nicely,
if another player has a Weasley in their hand, they'll get a certain thing depending on what Weasley has. So
when you open up the box initially, you're going to see all of these different boxes for each game. It lists each game, but technically it's broken down into each
chapter.
Book. Yeah, each chapter, something like that.
Yeah.
And each of the other 2 have 4 more in them.
And which adds different
which just
stuff.
adds more stuff to it. And I'm not going to go into the expansions. Just know that they're there. So in each of these boxes, they all come with the same core stuff. Every one of them adds a little bit to your dark arts cards, and these cards sit on the board. You flip one over at the start of every single person's turn, and you have to do what they say. None of them are good. They're all bad. Some of them even say, do another one. But like this one, all heroes lose 1 health and cannot draw extra cards this turn. So if you have cards in your hand that say, draw another card, you can't use them this round. So everybody has to turn this over. And most of them a lot of them affect the active player, whoever's turn it is next. Then of course you always have your stash of cards that you can buy. And these, you have 6 out at a time. And these, you spend your... not recruitment, influence points on these.
Why do we have such trouble remembering
I don't know.
It's like too much Marvel Legendary.
Too much Marvel Legendary. And then you have, every box comes with a few villains.
That you have to play through.
That you have to play through in order to beat the scenario. Every box has a couple, most of them have 3. The box 1 only has 2 locations. As you are going through the game, certain cards will tell you certain of these cards, of your dark arts cards, and then every time a character gets stunned, remember how I said when a character gets stunned, it's usually bad, or bad things happen? This is the bad thing. There are little skulls you have to put on the location as whenever you get stunned, or whenever a dark arts card tells you to, or whenever a villain tells you to. There are villains that tell you to do that too. So if you lose a location, if you max out how many skulls can fit on a location and you can't get them removed in time, that location's lost.
And if you lose all your locations, you lose the game.
You lose the game. So, and then the first box comes with all the character cards too, which not all the boxes do. But as you progress through the game,
the characters get older the powers change.
So they get better powers. And all of these are asymmetrical. They each have a little bit slightly different powers. And then as the game progresses, you get Patronuses that add different powers. You get this box added whole other cards that you get different powers on based on where your health was at. Change the effect of the power.
Oh, yeah.
So it adds a lot. It builds
was that
on
potions
itself.
Or was that the other,
no,
the monsters?
It was potions added that. Yeah. So I really like this game. It is a great game. That being said, we have played through it. We do not play it very often anymore. We definitely enjoyed it during our time of playing it. So what we've decided to do with this one is we reset everything back to how we opened it up. We're going to put the base game over into the other collection.
The travel collection.
Into the travel collection. We're going to take it with us on some events. It is a great introduction into deck building. And slowly teaches you all of those mechanics as it gets progressively harder. And it's a good theme.
Yep.
So we're going to put this one into the other collection. We're actually going to sell these two because I don't see how we want to use this. I don't see these two ever getting used.
No.
And if they were to ever get used, I wouldn't want to have to continually reset them. So yeah. That is that.
The next Harry Potter game. As you can see, we got a bunch of Harry Potter games.
We do.
This is Wizard's Chess. This is the game I found out that Katie doesn't do well in chess.
I'm terrible at chess. Terrible.
I cleared half your people.
I like this one. And this should have been with all the chess games, but we're trying to go off of how they're listed on BGG just to be not transparent, but what's the word? To be consistent. So it fell under Harry Potter Wizard's Chest. So
is that king actually giving you the peace sign?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
We'll have to take a picture of it so you can see this.
That's awesome. So I love the pieces in this. They are great replicas of the pieces in the first Harry Potter movie. Yeah. I mean, it's a chess game. We are going to hold on to it because of the theme and because these pieces are fabulous. I do love these
The
pieces.
board is something else.
The board is whatever, but we have
It looks like the floor in the movie.
It does. Well, I think it looks a little cleaner than the floor in the movie, but you know. But it's your basic chessboard. We have bought some really nice chessboards, some neoprene chessboards, though, that we take with us on events, so I'm not overly worried about that. But yeah, this one's going to stay just because, again, the theme, and we've discovered that teenagers like chess suddenly.
Yes,
I don't get
suddenly
it.
chess is really big with teenagers.
Yeah, so anyway, Harry Potter's
Next.
Wizard's Chess, it is staying.
Yep. Next we have a box with the box top row. Okay, next we have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone trivia game.
We played this a couple weeks ago with Chrissy and another friend, and this one wasn't bad. We actually played 2 different trivia games, and this one was
This is
good.
the one we actually
This one is
enjoyed.
set up.
I really enjoyed it.
This, I'll bet you did, because you won.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. So as you're progressing through the game, you answer a question, you pull a card for a charm card. So, and this one has, nope, not those. Is it these? It's these. So the crux of this game, you're trying to collect 6 charm cards. Whereas in most trivia games with this type of a setup, you answer questions and you keep moving and you have to be on that elusive pie piece in order to actually get something out of it, but not with this one. You answer the question, you pull a charm card. Simple as that. You don't get to go again or anything like that. It's no cascading rounds. But your goal is to get 6 different charm cards, and there's lots of them in here. So there's more than just 6, but there are duplicates. If you find you have duplicates and you want to try to trade them in, you can work your way into the middle of the board and exchange a card. But again, you're taking your chances, because all you're doing is giving up a card and pulling a new card. It may or may not help you. There are also curse cards. If you get the answer wrong, you have to pull a curse.
And it's not always cursing you. It could be cursing anybody in the thing, because it could be depending on the house you're with.
Like this one. Yeah, everybody chooses a house. So there's the 4 houses. It plays up to 6 players. So one house may or may not get used. We played 4, so we each just took a house, and that was it. But like this one says, all Ravenclaw players. You may be Hufflepuff, but this will affect all the Ravenclaw players. So it doesn't even affect you, but it's a curse. So you got to do what it says, even though it was pulled on your turn. So, but yeah, so all sorts of different things. There are also potions in here, or spells that you can use throughout. I don't remember when you pull the spell. Oh, there's certain spaces on the board where you pull a spell. So it was a cute game. The questions were not horrible.
You can steal charms from other people, go to other rooms. You can be put in prison. Yep. And you have to do it kind of like Monopoly. You got to roll a certain number to get out. Yep.
And the question, like I said, the questions weren't bad. I'm not huge on Harry Potter, and I even got some of these. So, and I do like the fact that they give you multiple choice. And that was another key to this. If you could answer it without the multiple choice, you got 2 spell cards. If you answered it with the multiple choice, you got 1. If you answered it wrong no matter what, then you pulled the curse card. But like this one, who did Norbert bite first? And the options are Hagrid, Fang, or Ron. Well, I wouldn't have known this. But the answer is Ron. Chrissy would have known that immediately. I would not have known that. Yep. But anyway, it's a cute game. We actually really enjoyed this one. It's actually the only it's one of 2 Harry Potter themed trivia games we have.
And we're going to get to that one next.
And that one's next, yeah. So this one's going to stay. Oops, this goes in first. This is staying in the travel collection. Yes, I'm sorry. This is in the travel collection, which is exactly where it's been. So Harry Potter, this is the Sorcerer's Stone trivia, because there are other trivia games out there. This one we enjoyed, though. So anyway, this one is staying.
Okay, the next one is Harry Potter's and the Chamber of Secrets trivia game. This one, I could see what the theme was trying to do, but we actually tried to figure it out, couldn't really figure it out well, and after a couple of turns, we're done.
We spent close to 45 minutes trying to figure this one out, and we finally gave up.
I mean, other people, we may have been trying to overthink it or something, but
the pieces are cute.
There's a lot of things going on, because you're basically on a Quidditch pitch.
So this is your board. You have 2 teams. You're keeping track of your points on here. The key is, though, that only one of your characters can get points. Everybody else just defend. It was so convoluted, we gave up. So we wanted to like this one because it was such a unique concept of a game. The concept was great. Unfortunately, the execution did not match the concept. So yeah, this one is going to hit the sale pile. Let me rephrase that. Chrissy wanted it for the trivia cards and the pieces because she does Harry Potter trivia a lot. So this one's going to leave the collection, and
both of these trivia were more based on the books, not the movies.
Yes, that was part of it. Is a lot of these had questions that never appeared in the movies. So, but yeah, that is Chamber of Secrets trivia, and Chrissy, it's all yours.
Okay. Next we have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone Mystery at Hogwarts. Mystery at Hogwarts game. So this is
Clue.
lids on backwards. That's number 2. I haven't really been checking them. Maybe I should go back and check those. Anyway.
I blame you then.
This is a Clue style game.
This is a Clue style game without the Clue name on it. You're literally, there are locations, there are spells, there are characters, and you put one of each into an envelope and you move around.
Trying to get clues. Yeah, it has areas where you're going to get, you can pick up cards that are going to either open up a new path or it's going to take something.
There are cards.
No, not take something, or you're going to be able to find out something. And
Yep. If you roll the dice, if the dice rolls a certain face, then you draw a card, and that card could do one of a number of things. I like the board. The artwork is really pretty.
It reminds me, the artwork kind of reminds me of the Grand Octopus.
A little bit.
Because it's like almost like total chaos going on there.
Yeah. But it was a cute game. But we have a lot of Clue games already, and this basically does the same thing. Matter of fact, we kept the Harry Potter Clue because it was so unique because of the spinning dials in it.
Yes,
that
I really
change
like that
up
one.
the entrances. So we're going to hold on to that Clue game, and this guy's going to hit the sale pile just in the interest of getting the collection down. It was not a bad game. We actually enjoyed our play of it, but in the interest of getting this collection down, it is going to hit the sale pile. So that is Sorcerer's Stone Mystery at Hogwarts.
So we're going to take a second. You could probably hear it in the background. We have our grand dogs today, and apparently they want something.
They are whimpering pretty hard today.
So we'll be right
Probably
back.
because the cat is picking on them again.
We have a bully cat named Jarvis.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're going to check on him really quick, and we'll be right back.
Okay.
You won't even know we're gone.
And we're back.
And we're back. Did y'all miss us?
With a company.
We have Groot right here. Rocket's under the
You
table.
gonna say hi? You gonna say hi?
Rocket's
Oh,
like,
you
what?
gonna come say hi too? Come on. Come on. There you are.
This is Rocket. And Groot, you went up here. Come on, jump up so everybody can say hi to you. And this is Groot.
Okay.
They're brothers.
And Jarvis is around
from
here
another
somewhere.
mother. Okay. No,
All right.
Okay, I've got to pull games out, so you can't sit in my lap. He's a big baby. He likes to be
Yeah.
cuddled.
So, we're just going to transfer to Grandma instead.
No, I was just trying to put him back down here.
I know.
Anyway, so that's Rocket and Groot. That's what the noise was. We're back. You know you missed me. Anyway, so Groot's gonna give his opinion on the games, I guess.
Are you going to talk to him?
So Groot,
gonna talk
we
to him?
now have Diagon Alley board game. What do you think about this, Groot? Would Mommy like this? Because your mom's a big
Mommy might.
Harry Potter fan.
All right, so this one had, you good? Okay. This one had a Clue-like feel, but it wasn't Clue.
No, it didn't really have a clue. Like you're going
Well,
around
I
and
mean,
you're
it had that same
collecting.
roll the dice, move around the board, but this one you have to go in a circle.
Yeah,
You
but
have to go in a
you're
circle.
you're collecting items
Yes.
to put on your board, and once you got all the items, you got back to the shop, you would win the
Correct.
game.
So this is
But
your
you need
board,
money for those items.
and you can't, of course, walk down the main pathway because that's where the cards are. But you're going around in a circle around all the different shops, collecting items, and you have items in the game based on the number of players.
Mm-hmm.
So the wand shop always has the same number as there are players. However, every other shop there's one
less
fewer.
than
So
player count.
you're fighting over them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's different things. There's your textbooks. There's your cloaks. There's more textbooks. There's your familiar, your owls. It's all owls. But there's potions and all sorts of different stuff in here, plus your wands. So one for every shop. The money, I like this money though, is if I can get them out. The money is...
Those are very hard to get out.
They are hard to get out because the insert is very form-fitted.
So,
but
what was the names of the different money pieces?
Hell, I don't know. They're...
You have to look them up.
I do. They're galleons, sickles, and knuts.
Is that knut or is that nut?
I don't know.
Is the K silent?
K-N-U-T. So I'm going to go... And I think Chrissy was pronouncing it knut. So I'm going to go with that.
Well, she's a little knut herself anyway, so...
I'm going to tell her you said that.
Well, if she watches the videos, she'll know.
Okay. So anyway, so you've got all this. You've got your cards that... these are all spell cards and stuff that as you're going around the board, you have opportunities to pick these up. There is... there's the main pathway through Diagon Alley. There's also the back, the secret pathway you might get relegated back to. You can come into any shop along the back of the row, even closed shops.
What's the back alley called?
Back alley is called... I was hoping I'd see it right here. I don't remember. What's it called?
I don't remember. It was a weird name.
See,
I'm sure everybody that are Harry Potter fans is like, it's this!
But yeah, every shop has a back door. So you can go in and out. You can go out in the back door, but you can't go out it. And then you got your little wizard hat movers that are so adorable. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. But anyway, regardless.
Nocturne Alley.
Nocturne Alley, thank you. And everybody has their little cards that this basically tells you what you're collecting. So you know when you fill up your card, whoever fills up their card first gets back to... What's the name of the store you're going back to? The Leaky Cauldron. You have to fill up your card, and then get back to the Leaky Cauldron, and whoever does that first wins the game. So, simple as that. It was a cute game. We really enjoyed the play of it. There was a lot of back and forth as we were stealing each other's components or supplies, I guess. Greg really got into this one.
Yes, he did.
Chrissy's friend really got into this one.
Yes, he did.
Because he kept closing shops on us. He got very smart about it.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't win, but he got...
Yeah, he had a bunch of money and he closed the bank. And
I know, and nobody else could get money.
Yeah, and like you said, it's like Monopoly. When you go past the bank, you get money.
You get
when
money
the bank's closed, you don't get money.
But you have to have money to get your supplies. And every supply has a different cost on it. So you had to budget for that. We had a good time with it.
I think what would have been cool is if at the bank, if back in the back alley, they had an ATM. That way, if the bank's closed, you can still get money.
Okay.
But you got to go through the back alley, which is called...
Nocturne Alley.
There you go.
Chrissy'd be proud of us for remembering that for 2 minutes.
What do you think I asked? What did you call it? Okay, so that is Diagon Alley, the board game.
All right. This one is going to stay in the collection. It is different than Clue, and we did enjoy it. And it's a good theme. So this one is going to stay. And it's going to stay in the travel collection. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. As you can tell, we're not big Harry Potter.
I'm a Harry Potter fan. We are not Harry Potter aficionados.
We're not as knut as Chrissy and Jackie are with being with Harry Potter. You know?
Okay.
So, this is still not our last one, but this is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the game. Wasn't that? No, that was
this is
Mystery of Hogwarts, and that's Diagon Alley. So,
yes.
This one,
I like the concept.
It has 6 3/4 different games in it. I kind of felt like it was a very, very, very generic 5-0, whatever that game was.
504.
504. Where it had a bunch of different components. You're building different games in it.
They're really, they're nice, heavy plastic, but at the same time, they're very flimsy.
Yes.
So you put all 6 of them together like so, and they make this giant board. And everybody starts at one end of it. I think you start up here. Yeah, Hagrid's Challenge. You started Hagrid's Challenge. And I don't remember all the specifics to all of these, but every one of them was kind of silly.
Yeah.
As I recall.
Because each board had a separate rule, and when you ended one, what I didn't get is like this one would come down, and the trap door would be right here. So you would think you would go to the board below it. No, you went to this board over here.
Yeah.
So why didn't they have the door come over here? None of them looked like they would connect.
No.
They all had separate rules, which is kind of weird.
I mean, yeah, Hagrid's Challenge, you were collecting note cards. You had to have 1, 2, 3, 4 to keep the dog. What was the dog? Fluffy. To keep Fluffy asleep. It was kind of weird.
Yes.
And one of them was even a chessboard. I'm not sure why they took all these silly games and then added chess right into the middle of it.
Yeah.
With with literally cardboard chits. It was.
Yeah, and it wasn't even really Wizard's chess either.
No, it wasn't.
It was just a chess game.
It was basically basic chess. That kind of shows you how the board goes together all together. This is what your board looks like all together. And then at the very end, there was like a half a game that you
Three
spread
quarters
out
of a
front,
game.
3/4 of a game.
That's why it's 6 3/4.
There was the 3/4 of a game that it was just a set of cards in front of you, and it was literally whoever pulled the right card first.
Yeah, would win the game.
It was really
and
silly.
people could move to the next one even if other people weren't done with the one.
This guy's going to leave the collection. I don't even know if I'm going to sell him. He's going to leave the collection, period.
Yeah, this is university games. They usually put out some decent games.
I was kind of shocked by that, yeah. So, but anyway, Harry Potter, Sorcerer's Stone, the game, is a dud. And we don't say that often.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's leaving the collection.
So, our last Harry Potter game. But it's not the last of the show. This is Harry Potter's... Well, actually, this just says Hogwarts House Cup Challenge.
This one was not... It was listed in BGG under Hogwarts. It doesn't say Harry Potter on it. However, it is a Harry Potter game, so we wanted to include it in with this one. So, this guy... This board is enormous.
Yeah, we're not going to get to that.
I would... Yeah. It folds... Well, here you go. I'll do this part. It folds out 6 times, and it's still that big. So the artwork is cute. See, there's a small part of it where you've got Gryffindor Tower and the corridors and the library and the what else is there?
The Quidditch pitch, the courtyard, classrooms.
The hospital wing, the classrooms, all sorts of stuff. So it's basically a big map of the castle and the grounds, the immediate grounds. Everybody chooses one character, or you deal them out, and you get a starting amount of knowledge, skill, and honor tokens. And throughout the game, your whole goal is to gather honor, skill, and knowledge tokens. So throughout the game, you're collecting these tokens, and you're moving around the board in order to meet challenges.
To get points, because when you score points, the Gryffindor actually scores points as well.
And that's where this is weird. So it plays up to 4-player. The 4 main characters, Harry, Hermione, Ron, and of course Neville. It plays in a series of rounds. Everybody takes 3 actions. Everybody takes 1 action at a time, 3 times, and then you check for the new year. The game plays in a round of 5 years. Every time Hogwarts hits 100 points, every time it hits one of the 100 marks, then the year changes and you add more cards to the deck. Then you add new adventures to the board. So you are pulling up some of these cards and adding them to certain places on the board. Now, the year 1 cards are pretty mundane, but you get into the later years and that gets a little more dangerous. Like, here's some year 3 ones. This one goes into the Forbidden Forest. In order to pass it, you need 7 knowledge, 7 skill, and 7 honor. If you have enough skill, honor, and knowledge to pass it, then you get 10 victory points, 1 skill token, and an honor token you can add to your stash. However, if this is played on you while you are in the Forbidden Forest and you can't meet that, then you fail it. And if you fail it, you have to discard 1 random adventure card and go to the hospital wing. So the idea is that you're moving around the board, and one of the options you have is to play cards either into your room, cards, obviously you know you're going to be able to meet those cards, so you play them and get the bonuses from them. Or you can play cards elsewhere on the board, the idea being that you want to play them onto other characters when they can't meet them, so that they fail them and have to give things up. And in a 4-player game, we did play this the first time at 4 players several years ago, and it was a little tighter. We did actually do that a few times where we played it on each other, and, you know, it was what it was. You can actually ask for teamwork on this, and everybody wins. Well, everybody wins the challenge, I should say. However, we played it last night at 2 players, and it just, we never failed anything. Once you get past
we kind of stayed away from each other. We never played a card under each other.
We never were anywhere within 3 or 4 spaces of each other.
No.
So the one interesting fact with this one is how it scores. Because as you're scoring in increments of 5. Because the idea is you're getting points toward the house cup. So everybody is scoring in increments of 5, but every time you score, the house cup moves that many spaces too. So it's going around the board much faster than anybody else because it's scoring with everybody. And then, like I said, there's these 100 marks that every time you pass a 100 mark, then the new year starts. But when the house cup gets to 500, the game is over, and whoever has the most points, whoever has contributed the most points to the house cup total, that person wins the game. It is an interesting game, and we did enjoy it at 4-player. However, it is one of those that will likely never come off our shelf. Don't get me wrong, we know some Harry Potter super fans, but we're going to put
this... about Harry Potter. That is the new catchphrase. You are Canutt about Harry Potter.
Okay. So we're going to move this one over into the travel collection. I think this is something that will be eye-catching on a table because it is so large and it is very colorful. And a Harry Potter fan would really enjoy playing this, I think. But I think at 2 plays, we kind of have played it out ourselves. So I want to share it. So we're going to move this over to the other collection. But anyway, that is Hogwarts House Cup Challenge Adventure board game.
So that is it for the Harry Potter world. Now let's move on. So we have a heavy game, meaning the box is heavy, but the game is also pretty heavy, especially for a flippin' right. This is Hadrian's Wall. This is a flippin' right with... Nope, it's flipping right. Remember your cards. You're flipping over the cards to see what resources you're getting and all that. Where the people are going to attack at the end of the round.
Yep, that's true.
And it is, you have workers that you're placing on different things to get different things to be able to do stuff. So you're getting workers, you're placing them over on. It's 2 papers that you're using.
That's what I'm basically getting out. I'm not going to go into this. It is a cascading flippin' right.
Yes.
One thing gives you stuff to do elsewhere, but this one actually has little workers, so you can place your workers out, and workers do different things.
Yep.
But these books, and they give you plenty of them. I'll give you that. But the books are literally half the box, more than half the box. So nope, turn it over. These are your pads of paper.
Yep.
It's like holy mackerel.
This side's all about all your the city, all the different buildings in the cities, and buildings over here is your defense, basically. And where all your resources are basically going to be pulled from.
Yeah. So, you're building your wall. You're building Hadrian's Wall. And, I'm not going to go into it because it's a lot. But very interesting, very heavy, physically and mentally. Rolling right, flipping right. There are no dice in this, so it's a flipping
Everybody has their own cards.
Yeah, everybody has a set of cards. Good game. I do really enjoy this one.
Yes.
We don't get it out very often because it is so intense, and I feel like unfortunately we probably should get it out more often.
Well, it's a 60. It says it's 60 minutes playtime.
This is also one of those. It's very easy to make a mistake, and you have to be focused on your own board.
Yeah.
There is no interaction with other players. It's almost a solo.
Yeah, it's a solo game, basically.
Multiplayer solo game. But the big one with this one is at the end of every round, when everybody is done, they've spent their resources, they've spent all their workers, they've done everything they can do, then the picks come and you have to defend. And you have to look at your board to determine where you've put your defenses and if any of them get through. And I don't even remember what happens if they do. But something happens. Oh, that's right. It's a different mark on your board.
Which is negative points at the end of the game. You're right. But there's a way to take care of that.
To mitigate it,
To mitigate it on the city side.
Yep.
So that's Hadrian's Wall.
Hadrian's Wall. Awesome game. It is staying in the collection.
So now we've got some old classic games that some are going to stay because of... And that is this game here. Because she's in love with him.
I like them both. Anyway, this was a gift.
Yes, it was.
It was a gift from my brother and his wife. So how this one plays, again, very super simple. It is a product of its time, I'm afraid, 1970s type. This is your board. You have all these little evidence cards that go out. There's 5 different evidence cards, and they all go out underneath. Each one of them goes out underneath one of their matching colors.
These are your playing pieces.
These are your playing pieces. So
who, where, when, and what?
yes. So you are essentially looking for
your
question.
evidence card.
So, for example, if I'm playing what, then I am looking through
A card that says
all
what?
of the evidence cards to find the ones. There's a who. Come on. There's my what. There's one of each of the questions in each of the 4 colors. So you are going around to all sides of the board, and if you get lucky, you might find them all on one side, but that's not going to happen. So you're moving around the board trying to find your question that matches your mover. And you got to find all 4 of them to win. That's basically the crust of the game. Now, as you're moving, it is a roll and move. So you are moving anywhere from 1, 2 to 3 spaces. But you also get these cards that you get occasionally too. And I don't even remember how you get them now. But you get the cards. And this allows you extra movements. So if you rolled a 1, but you really needed to move 2 spaces, then you can find one on here that says move 1 space. You can play it and move that additional space and do what you need to do. So this gives you a little more flexibility, essentially. It's a super simple game. I don't know why I like it, but it's
the Hardy Boys.
It's because it's the Hardy Boys. And that was one of my favorites when I was a kid. And I had all the books and I watched the show. And Parker Stevenson and Sean Cassidy were fun to watch, and we're going to hold on to it. So it stays in our collection up on the top shelf. Right up next to your Kissopoly that's never even been opened.
Hey, at least that one's probably worth a little bit of money.
Whatever.
This was apparently worth $2.99.
Regardless, Hardy Boys, it's staying. Because I said so.
Okay, this is one we bought actually in an antique store in Lafayette, Indiana. We were actually waiting for Merlin's Beard. It's a game cafe up there in
Game
Lafayette,
cafe
Indiana.
that had just opened. They were waiting.
This is Happy Days.
This was another roll and move. Again, product of its time. Here's your board. So with this guy, you are rolling the dice, and you're moving around the board, and the goal is you are trying to collect
cool points that are tracked on this board.
Yep, you're trying to get 16 cool points. And different cards will give you points. They'll also take points away. So you're moving around the board. There are different areas in here where you can drag race. You get cool points or lose cool points, depending on whether you do it. And it's all a roll of dice.
There's places where you pick up cards to do stuff, to go out on dates to get cool points, or you fail on getting cool points, so you're going to lose them.
It was an interesting little game. Again, product of its time. That being said, it's going to leave the collection. It is.
I mean, if you're a classic game collector,
it is an older IP that, while popular with our generation, is not with the generations that at the events that we go to. So I just don't see it ever coming off the shelf. I don't see us ever taking it anywhere for that reason. And again, in the interest of getting that collection down a little bit, this one is going to leave the collection. So, yeah. But anyway.
That's Happy Days.
Happy Days.
What's that say? Fonzie's real cool game. Hey. Anyway.
And we'll leave it at that.
And that's my impression of Fonzie. Okay, so next we have...
Hands
down.
I didn't.
And somebody had their hands down when they put their lid on the box.
I had this out the other day showing somebody. Jacob? I don't know.
But this is a game of slap happy fun.
This was another one I fully expected to hit the sale pile until we played it. So the way this one plays, everybody has a hand of cards, and you're drawing cards throughout the game. I am going to break a finger, buddy. You are drawing cards throughout the game. Everybody has a hand of cards, and you are trying to make a set or a pair. So if you can make a pair of a card, 3 does not count, and I know that doesn't match, but pretend that's a 2. 3 doesn't work. You have to have a pair of 2. So if you can make a pair, you have to say hands down, put the pair down, and slap your disc down. Anybody who, and then everybody else has to do the same thing. They have to slap their hand down. Anybody who slaps before the person who laid the pair gets penalized. And the last person to hit it gets penalized. So the idea is you wait for the person who laid the pair to slap their hand down, and then everybody else slaps down as fast as they can because you don't want to be the last one doing it. We actually laughed pretty hard at this one. It was good. Very generic, generic components, Milton Bradley type cards, whatever. But we laughed at this one pretty hard. So we're going to hold on to this one. It was a neat gimmick. Now, we did decide that, and I'm going to regress here for a second. For the 24-hour marathon, we did this. We did a Family Feud thing. And my brother and I must have spent an hour going through games looking for buzzers to use in the Family Feud game. This is all we needed. This would have told you who hit first, right?
Yeah.
This is what we needed. I forgot
you were going to
this.
say we were going to do that. Play that game in the next 24
No.
hours.
Although that would be funny. But no. But next time we do Family Feud, we're going to pull this out. Because this will be your slapper for the Family Feud. Yeah. I know, right? I regress.
You're a little canut.
Anyway, that's hands down. It is going to stay in the travel collection. It's a cute little family game.
Next, we have a game that we always love to play. This is Hail Hydra.
I don't know about always love.
It's a social deduction game where there are, depends on the amount of players, but usually there's 2 Hydra and the rest are all shield agents. And you're trying to take out the villains before they take out the city. And like in Battlestar Galactica, the Hydra agents are trying to sabotage the whole thing so that the city gets taken out and they win.
Yep.
Me and Jacob had you guys totally psyched out.
Okay, so this one requires 5 players to play in the first place. So it was a little tricky to get played, but we did get it played this weekend. So yeah, there's your New York City board. And that's what you're trying to save or Hydra agents are trying to take out. Throughout the game, everybody is either a Hydra or a shield agent as depicted by the coasters that you get at the start of the game. The trick is, though, that everybody's pulling from the same deck of cards. Everybody has a superhero that has a special ability that you can use once per game. It also on the back shows you the best time to use that ability if you choose to. It also tells you what to do if you decide to declare yourself as Hydra. At least 2 members of the party will be doing that at some point. But you have a number of villains, and the different villains are ranked 1 to 3, 1 to the final villain. The final villain being Red Skull. In this game, I don't know if there's more final villains or if he's the only one.
No, he's the only villain.
Okay.
There's no expansions of this that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I don't know of any. But so every villain has an ability down here that goes off under certain circumstances. It has a health value, and then it has how much damage they do to the city if they're not defeated by the end of the turn they come out. Simple enough. This only takes 6 to kill them. That should be simple, right? No. So what happens, all of the players are playing off the same deck of cards, all of which has good and, look at all those reds, good and bad cards, depending on your affiliation. It depends on which ones are good and which ones are bad. Hydra is trying to block.
They're trying to sabotage
They're trying to sabotage the missions.
To keep you from taking out the villains. The villains are what's going to damage everybody. So the villains can do the damage.
So the Hydra is essentially trying to play all these negative cards if they can, but they don't want to be found out. So everybody else is trying to play all the positive cards. If you can get more positive cards than negative cards in a round to equal the villain's health, then you take the villain out and nothing happens. You just move on. However, if you don't, then, and everybody can play what, 1 to 3 cards. You have to play 1 card. You can play up to 3. So Hydra may decide, you know what, I have 2 of these -4s, but I also have a +3 I really want to get rid of. So let me just play all 3 of them, and at least I'll counteract myself. Of course, shield agents may think the same thing, but in reverse. I have a bunch of high cards, but I got a lot of these negative cards I need to get rid of too, so I'll counteract myself. Problem is, you only get to draw 1 card at the end of the turn. Right. Everybody gets 1 card. You start with 6. You only get 1 until you are the first player
until
again.
you're past the shield token, and then you get to
at that point,
discard any cards in your hand. You get to draw 6 new cards.
Yes, so that's how you get rid of the cards that are bad to you if you can hold on to them that long. It is very tricky in trying to figure out what to play and when. Of course, at the end of every round, there is a 2-minute discussion on who we think Hydra is and how we're going to, and who we're voting out of the mission, basically. Who we're knocking out for a mission so that we can try to defeat the villain easier.
Yeah, and there's always got to be a vote, and if you don't know and you don't think anybody needs to go out, you just point up. If you think somebody needs to go out, you point at them.
Yes, so. And then majority wins. So, like most social deductions, majority wins. So, yeah, you and Jacob had us fooled.
Ben named me straight off, off the bat. But me and Jacob was able to get you guys to turn on Ben because Ben was constantly throwing acquisition. Well, you guys turned on
Ben.
Eric
turned
first.
on Eric first. And they turned on me at first too. Well, Ben named me right off the bat, and everybody went
me and
with
you.
it.
He goes, "You two are it." Well, it wasn't. It was me and Jacob.
Yeah. So, and then they went after Eric, and it was needless to say, Hydra won, but it was fun. Poor Eric got picked on pretty hard, but I'm telling you, you were always the Cylon, and apparently you were always Hydra too. And I'm going to remember that next time we play. Anyway.
Not always. Cylon? Okay, yeah. And it's usually not till the second half of the game. But anyway.
Anyway, Hail Hydra. Great social deduction, party type game. Plays up to 8 players. So it plays a large number. Yeah, we're going to hold on to this one. It sits in the travel collection right now because it isn't something that ever comes off our shelf because of the player count. But we know where it is if we want it. So, yeah, this one is going to stay in the travel collection. I think it's a great one to go to different events. Hail Hydra.
Good. Next one we have is H.I.D.E. This one's been in the collection for quite a while.
It has.
We'd only played it once, and it got moved over to the travel collection, but we always wanted to play it with more than two people.
Players, yeah.
'Cause 2 players, it has a variant in the box to play it for 2 players. It tells you 3 plus, but it comes with a variant.
It's
for
not
2
good.
players, and it's not good.
It's not
players.
a good variant. And I don't even remember how the variant works.
We
I
played
just
this
remember
at
it did not
3
enjoy
players.
It. We did.
Which still blocks one of the mission cards. But it still works pretty good at 3.
Yeah. This one, I did like this one. I love the components. We took these apart. I didn't.
Yeah, I like the 2-player variant was an afterthought, I think, because it's not even in the rule book. It was a separate sheet.
So everybody has this little hideout. Whatever.
Yeah, I guess the box is big enough where you could just leave them put together.
Yeah, I thought that they were originally, but that's okay.
No.
They weren't?
No.
Oh, okay. So the idea of the game is that, so here's your player board. Everybody has their player board with their little hideout to hide their dice. And then this board is in the middle of the table. This is the mission cards. And there are cards that go out here with different dollar amounts on them. Anywhere from, I think, $2,000 to like $8,000 or $9,000 on these. So what you're doing at the start of the game, everybody draws 1 random dice out of the bag. There's 4 different colors. And you're drawing 1 random dice out of the bag where nobody can see even the color. You don't want anybody to even know what color you are. And you're choosing one of the 4 location sides to put onto your dice, and you're hiding that behind your little hideout. So this, in this case, I would be a blue submarine or a blue army base or whatever. But this determines where I'm at and what color I am at this point in time. So, or what I'm going after. I'm going after whatever loot there is at the army base. That's the plan. Meanwhile, you pull out the number of dice. Once everybody's done that, you pull out the number of dice out of the bag plus 1. Roll them, and then everybody chooses. So the crust of the game is you're giving clues to who you are by what dice you pick up and what you do with that die. So, for example, if I am the blue army guy, pretend this is down here. If I'm the blue army guy, I don't necessarily want to pick up this blue die. That tells people I'm blue. It tells them one of two things. If I pick up a die of the same color, I have to put it up here no matter what the symbol is.
Or the same logo.
Or if I pick up a die of the same logo, I have to put it up here. Well, this is going to tell everybody I'm either
the yellow submarine or the blue army.
Or the yellow army. Or this narrows it down to 4 options. However, I could do, if this is like a yellow power plant, I would have, and it doesn't match my die in any way, shape, or form. I have to put it down here. Well, this tells everybody I'm not the yellow power plant.
You're not yellow, or you're not a power plant.
Right, not yellow or a power plant. Same thing here, purple satellite. So you're being very careful as to what you're picking up. Now, there's 2 guns on each of these. These are used if you have to have a shootout. If 2 people end up surviving the round and going after the same thing, then you have a shootout to see who actually gets it. But the idea is you want to pull dice that is going to give the least amount of information possible. So if I pull this purple, and you're playing this for 4 rounds till everybody has 4 dice either up here or down here total. So each round, so great, I'm going to pull this purple satellite. Well, next round, if another purple comes out, as long as it's not a purple army base, I'm going to want to pull that purple and put it up here because that gives nobody any information. So you're trying to protect your identity. Meanwhile, every time you pull a dice that makes you reveal a piece of information, then you get to try to assassinate somebody by saying who they are. So I could go, okay, Greg, I think you are the yellow submarine, which he was more than once in the last game.
I was once.
Whatever. So you try to figure out who the other people are based on the information they're giving you. If you can succeed, then you get one of their rank cards. You win by having 5 rank cards. I take that back. All of their rank cards become loot to you, and you draw 1 rank card off the top of the deck that goes to your rank. As soon as you have 5 rank, you win the game.
Whoever has the most money wins the game. And I won both ways. So.
You did. So yeah, it was interesting. I really enjoyed it. It was much more fun at 3 players than it was at 2.
Yes, it was.
It is an interesting social deduction in not revealing too much information about yourself while trying to deduce what somebody else is. So you can get their rank cards. But that is H.I.D.E. I'm kind of curious to try this at a full 5-player count, but we'll see. This one is going to stay in the travel collection. Again, it's good social deduction.
Yep.
Yeah, H.I.D.E. Stack's getting kind of tall over there.
Next one is Hangman. And you're asking, don't you just play a Hangman on a piece of paper? Yeah, but this makes it even more.
But this makes it interesting. So this is kind of like Battleship style. Two separate boards. If I can get it out without destroying it. So everybody has their set of letters and their hangman. Now, if you notice, over here the hangman is empty. But as you guess letters wrong, this changes. And now you have the platform. And then you have
the pole.
It just keeps going until suddenly you have a head. And then the torso. And then, it just keeps going until you get all the way to there. And you have won the game because your opponent has gotten hangman. So how you're playing this one is you are picking a letter and a word. Both players have to agree on the number of letters in the word.
Yes.
So you choose your word and you're putting this up here, but you have to put it backwards because when you turn them around, the backs of these are just a design and they're all the same. So you're putting your word backwards so that when you have to flip the letters around, now it's spelling forward for your opponent. But just like normal hangman, you're guessing a letter. If you're right, you turn the letter around so they can see the part of their word. If you're wrong, you turn the dial. And you keep doing that. So everybody gets what, 11 opportunities
10.
to be wrong? So very cute game. I like the aesthetic of it. I love the fact that it actually makes this simple game into a physical form. We're going to hold on to this. It's going to stay in the travel collection. I've only ever seen this one copy of it. I've never seen it in Goodwill since. So, yeah. That is Hangman. Physical version of a very popular kids game. Let's put it that way. But he's going to stay.
Next we have Hanabi. And we have the deluxe edition.
We do.
Which is
beautiful tiles.
The tiles instead of the cards, which I don't think I could ever play with the cards after playing
I don't
with the
think
tiles.
I could either. All right, so the way this one plays is you are essentially trying to build out collections of fireworks. Everybody starts with 5 tiles sitting in front of them backwards so that everybody around you can see what you have, but you can't see what you have. So the idea is that you're playing blind. Now you can get some clues. There are chips that go out on the table. There are little time trackers. So long as there are little time trackers turned up, you can give a clue. But if there's none turned up, then you have to either discard something,
discard a tile, or play a tile.
Or play a tile. If you discard a tile, you can turn over a time tracker for somebody else to use. Now this is cooperative, so everybody who's playing is trying to get the highest score. The idea being the highest score is typically 25 unless you're playing with one of the variants. With a time tracker, you can give a clue. So for instance, somebody may tell me that these are both 3s, or they could tell me these are both wild. How many wilds do I have? Did I pull all wilds?
No, you only got 2 wilds.
Okay, so they could tell me that you have 2 3s, and they would point to them, or you have 2 wilds, and they would point to them, and then I would rearrange them to keep those separate because I know those are 2 3 wilds. Done. I could tell somebody else, hey, you have 2 1s, or you have 1 1, or hey, that's a green. Alternatively to giving clues or to discarding one, then I could play a 1. If somebody told me, hey, this is a 1, well, great, I can play a 1. Hopefully they won't tell me that if we already have this one out and it's no good to me anymore. But so I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to go, great, that's a 1. So somebody else could have told me I already knew this was a yellow. So maybe on a later turn, somebody tells me it's a 2. Well, great, I know it's a yellow 2 now. So I can play that there. And you're doing this with all 5 colors.
Yeah, but it's also, you need to remember
you got to remember what things are, because you can't.
Because if you lay out the wrong tile, it's bad.
You have 3 wick tiles, and if you get through those 3 wick tiles, and you remove one every time you make a wrong selection. If you lay something out that can't be laid out. So if I were to suddenly say I didn't lay this out, but I laid that out instead, that would be a wrong tile. So I would get rid of a wick tile. Or if you lay out one that's already out, then again, it's not a legal move. You remove a wick tile. You do 3 and it explodes and game's over. So it's an interesting hidden deduction game.
Yes.
Like I said, there is a card game to this. It's very inexpensive. It is very well regarded. I don't know that I could play with the cards after playing with the tiles, because you have to hold the cards backwards so everybody else can see them, but you can't. Just seems
and that's
weird.
the other thing you got to remember when you're drawing a tile or a card. If you're playing the card game, you can't look at.
Yeah, you cannot look at them, and that is very counterintuitive to what you want to do. Great game though.
It's been in our collection.
It's been in our collection for a while.
It's been in there a while, yeah, and it'll stay.
And it will stay, yeah. This is Hanabi. We don't play it very often, but it is a great game. It plays quickly. It plays 5 players. It's just a good game. So yeah, Hanabi, and it will stay.
And lastly, we have Habitats. This is from. It used to be board game tables, but now it's all play.
Yeah. We picked this one up at Dice Tower West after playing it in the Hot Games room and really liked it. It has some remnants of Nova Luna with the way it plays, but I feel like this one just makes more sense. It's more intuitive in what you're doing.
It's a little more theatrical. Or
Theatrical?
Thematic.
Thematic. There you go.
Because Nova Luna has no theme.
No, it's just an abstract. So the way this one plays is you have a set of tiles out in front of you, and everybody is playing a Jeep color. And you have your base to your habitat.
Starting habitat.
Your starting piece to your habitat. There are three sets of goals out. You play it in 3 rounds, 3 sets of years, or 3 years, I should say. And each year, there are 2 goals that are scored. And then at the end of the game, you score your habitats. The goals are scored based on who has the most of something.
Yeah.
Whether it be the most in a straight line, or the most diagonally, or the most flowers, or whatever the case may be, whatever the goal is. And then it's first, second, third, whatever, depending on the number of players. So your tiles are all different animals, different habitats. So I've got like a forest habitat and a water habitat and the grasslands habitat, but this is another gate. You can add gates to your thing. They score a little differently. There are flowers in here that are simple. Oh, look at that. I pulled a flower. Then you've got your desert habitat, I guess. Flowers just simply score a point, but they are advantageous to other creatures out there. There are bees in here that have to be placed next to flowers. There are dual land habitats that can help extend other habitats so that you can make your matches. For example, say, what do I have here? Say I have this lizard that wants 2 green habitats. Well, I could put this scorpion next to him. That's 1 green habitat, and I can do that, and that would be my second. Or I could do this, and he would have both of them that way. It gives him access to this other green.
Right.
So the idea is that each animal wants certain habitats, and you are trying to maneuver so that you can do that. But the habitats don't have to be directly next to them. They just have to be connected in some fashion. And then maybe I put my green or my blue over here. Now that being said, I couldn't put the blue here and have it count. It has to be directly connected. So this blue would have to be directly connected to my crawfish. But these yellows, because it extends, the habitats continue, they match up, they can extend away from him. And there are some large animals, like this guy needs 4 grasslands and 2 water. Well, you're not going to get 6 tiles directly around him, so you can just extend that grassland out. As long as they're all connected, it counts. Really neat game. I love the theme. The theme is just very intuitive. We taught it to 2 people on Friday night, and they both fell in love with it.
Yeah, actually, Jacob started looking for it.
Now, we did buy the upgrade expansion. The upgrade.
Yeah, because when you finish off one of your
Yes, when you finish off one, so you don't have to worry about it. The check marks are just used to say, hey, I finished this one, I don't have to worry about it anymore.
But then the mean guy at All Play flashed these in front of you, and you said, I must have them.
They were on the table in the hot games room, so we played with them in the hot games room. So I already knew I liked them. But these are these beautiful wood animals and like gates and campsites, because there's gates, campsites, and watchtowers also in there that have different scoring features. I'm not going to go into it too much. But then you have these beautiful animals, and there's 1 animal for literally every tile in the game. So once you've built your animal, you can find these animals out on the mess of animals and put him on your tile to show, I finished this one, and he will score now. As Ben said, this is a whole nother, it's a meta game.
It's a whole nother game in itself, trying to find your animal.
Trying to find the animal.
Yeah. And then they both said that they don't think they would want to play the game without those.
We've played it both ways.
Yeah.
Because the one time we played it once in the hot games room, and then we bought it. And then we taught it to a couple people later that night after the hot game. Well, no, the hot games room was still open, but we just ran up and grabbed our copy because it was being used. And you've left these up in the room. You forgot them.
Yeah.
So we just played with the check marks, and it was fine. It wasn't as pretty when the game was over, but it was fine.
Yep.
So, great game. We really enjoy this one. It is going to stay in the collection. Yeah. But that is Habitats from All Play. Fabulous game. And that is it.
Yep, that wraps up
Episode
the
1.
first episode of the H's.
Yes.
Anything else?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. No
Okay,
announcements
well,
today.
we'll see you at the next one.